Yeah, that's the last one I have to do is stuff standing up.
Oh, no. Got you. You wanted to start off with your overall thoughts on the match and the results and
Yeah, this will be pretty short and sweet. Can't start matches like that. And some individual errors again cost us. I think the lack of being locked in early, and we're down 2 goals in 6 minutes against a good team that's now able to sit back, draw out the game, slow it down, and we're chasing the game again. Created enough chances to definitely be in it for sure. Still could have come back, I guess, for sure in the first half, and some good chances in the second half to get ourselves back in the game. Got a little bit sloppy with our shape in the second half, trying to go and extend and create some pressure and turnovers, which we did. Just didn't turn them into goals. And then, of course, getting extended late, we give up a late goal. But you just can't start matches like that. And that's disappointing and frustrating, because I thought, we came in with a real clarity. I didn't think we were, tough enough again until we're 2 goals down. So tired of repeating that.
Yeah. How much when assessing the offensive performance are you factoring in the performance of Alexander Timpakis in the New Mexico goal in his saves?
Yeah, I mean, he came up with some big saves on the night for sure. You give credit where credit's due, but some of those chances we definitely need to put away. Right, we're in some very, very good positions to finish, and there's a little bit on the keeper and a little bit on us that we need to do better in that moment.
Yeah. I don't want to go too far in the negative, so I'll do a curveball. You guys brought back Wolfgang this week to extended him for yourself. How big is that for this season and also the future for you guys to have such a piece that so many teams probably had a lot of interest in, that it's going to be staying here for a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's well said for sure. You watch him play, you can just feel it. You don't even need to know football to see a guy who's committed to every single second. He puts it in on both sides of the ball, and he's locked in, and he's focused. And a player like that is just going to continue to improve, which is where you've seen him, I think, grow over the last few years. So really, really important. Happy for the club, happy for Wolfgang that he's going to be here for a while.
So one of the game changers off the bench was E.J. Johnson. You felt that you had a bit more threat in the attack. Any other assessments on his impact off the bench?
I think EJ comes in and he definitely provides, a physical threat. He gets into the box well. I got to go back and look. It looked like he drew a penalty that, maybe not. But actually, if it's us, it's definitely a never that we'll get it. So I thought, his ability to go and stretch, hold up the ball and draw some fouls was good for us. I think as he continues to work on his pressure on the other side of the ball and forcing turnovers, I think that's another step for him to go. But I thought he was good for us and solid for us when we had the ball, being able to try to stretch.
With so many teams in the Western Conference, no one is really fully taking advantage. Maybe New Mexico will now, and everyone is so just in a basket for so much of this season. How big do you think it's going to be the next couple of weeks to try and see if you can assert yourself into a more advantageous position, not just from of course you want to win games, but just from the standpoint of making sure that these teams know that Oakland is one of those teams to be expected to be in that level?
Yeah, I think we're in that moment. We've been in that moment for the last few weeks for sure. I think we'll go back and you look at the numbers today. I'm sure they're pretty even, especially in terms of clear-cut chances, shots on goal, possession, etc. But you walk out 0-3, and so to your point, and in a conference like this where it's details that matter, it's moments that matter, and it's being locked in and making sure that you're not putting yourself behind the 8 ball. And so it's we've had some decent performances, obviously, with the ball, creating chances, scoring goals over the last 2 games, but it's those moments where it's just we choose to take a playoff still, or we just let ourselves down with a decision off the ball. Today we give one away, and then we're looking for a linesman call instead of running back, and ball hits us in the feet, we give away. It's just these little moments that we need to make sure that we are respecting. We continue to respect more because we've been putting in a lot of good work for it to be undone by these many moments. Again, tired of saying that.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed with the attacking movement was there was some wayward crosses, being inside the box, and then the cross would go outside the box, or maybe trying to make a home run pass to on a counterattack. Do you think that those gambles are worth it and they're going to pay off, or would you like to see a maybe more simplified offense to be more direct?
I think to that point, I mean, to be more direct, that's kind of what we're doing in those moments, right? I think we've been able to mix it up and get in behind teams. I think we've also been able to slow the game down and circulate the ball and play through the midfield. When we're wayward crossing is not good in the sense that it's wayward, but it's good in the sense that we're getting into these areas and we're creating more moments, especially in zone 4, right? Thought we had a lot of moments today to cross in the box that we didn't get in, especially in the second half. Thought we had some good moments to be able to play in behind. Obviously, New Mexico is a team that's going to have the ball as well. So when they don't, you have to suffer a bit and you have to drop into your shape. And, there was moments in the first half where we weren't organized with our press and they were able to play through us. And so those moments, you start to fall back and you have to deal with the suffering. That's part of football all the time, making sure that you're not getting broken down. So when we do that, and to your point, we are suffering for a little bit. We need to be a little bit better in choosing those moments where we do go behind and try to hit them right back on the counter, as well as being able to get our legs, keep possession a little bit. I thought better in the second half for sure. Some moments in the first half where it wasn't good either with our ability to show and create support angles or our ability to run and behind.
So thanks, guys. I'll be back with the play. Julian, you want to just start off with the overall thoughts on the match and we'll pass it around on the results.
Yeah, obviously it's difficult to be at home and lose in that way, and come getting scored on twice in 5 minutes is obviously difficult. And we put ourselves in a hole, and it's tough to come out of it.
Do you want to start off?
Yes. So you've been able to play multiple different positions in this season and work with a lot of different defensive partners. How have you been able to adapt and learn from all these players around you?
Yeah, I think everybody on the team has a different style and requires a little bit something different from me, and it's allowed me to grow and kind of get exposed to different styles of play. Right now, I'm playing most of my minutes at that left center back with Hack and Kai, and their experiences allowed me to learn from them.
So after, of course, first 2 goals happened, but afterwards it seemed like you guys were able to kind of, as a unit, especially as that defensive core, kind of snap back and cut off a lot of what New Mexico was wanting to do. How, as a defender, are you able to kind of just wipe that away in those moments where you're down 2, but you guys seem to have bounced back in a way that you could take some positives in a really unfortunate result?
Yeah, I mean, it's an important attribute to have, when you get scored on, to kind of forget about it and move on. Obviously, there was another goal that happened shortly after that, so that kind of puts a little bit more pressure on us to not let anything else go on. But we just kind of tried to stick to what was working for us, and we didn't allow anything else in the second half or in the first half, sorry. But then again, it didn't pan out the way we wanted.
There was a big response in the second half. The Oakland Roots were almost mimicking how New Mexico was very aggressive in those first 5 minutes of the first half. You were able to match that aggression. Was there anything in particular that was said during halftime that galvanized the team?
I mean, emotions were running high at halftime. We all wanted to come back out and make a statement, but things just weren't. The execution wasn't there. But yeah, those emotions that kind of came out kind of lit a fire under some of us, and we were able to kind of get back in the swing of things, but it just wasn't enough at the end of the day.
So with the second game of, for the Jägermeister coming up, especially it not being an official league game, do you think that's an opportunity for you guys to kind of wipe away it's like, hey, this is something completely different. This is a different opportunity. It does super matter, but you guys can kind of gel or do kind of different things, especially attacking wise or anything forward, maybe bringing some, I know probably some different players, subs, because it's a cup game. Do you think that's kind of can be a cleansing moment for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's not a league game. It's definitely an opportunity for us to kind of get back to the drawing board and look to do the things that were working for us at the beginning of the season when we were winning. Try to do those things right again and kind of get back, get some momentum under our feet and come back the following weekend and produce again. We just always look to win, and this is a good opportunity for us.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.